Hospital Port as pride and dignity stop the New World Order. Welcome to Herpanwo TV. Right, today is the 27th of January 2011 and it is Holocaust Memorial Day. This is one day a year when people all around the world get together to remember those who died, mostly Jews, in the Nazi concentration camps during the Hitler period, about 60, 70 years ago. It's something that I actually find slightly sinister, you know, and alright, I'll explain why in a minute, because I can see that some of you are now reaching for the unsubscribe button. Okay, because this is a highly controversial subject, it's highly contentious. In fact, it's one of the most controversial subjects you can discuss, and already some of you will be feeling this man is morally wholly other. He just said something utterly heretical and amoral, you know, and immoral and evil. Okay, but please bear with me. I'd like you to listen to the end of this video before you decide whether you want to have anything more to do with me. Okay, because I'm not a racist, okay? I'm not an anti-Semite. I know people who are. In fact, I regularly debate with people who are. The conspiratorial movement, unfortunately, is full of people who believe that this whole thing is a racial Jewish issue. They believe that the Illuminati are Jews and that their goal is the extermination of the white race, and the New World Order is a Jewish global domination of black nationalists, and etc, etc, etc. And so the solution therefore is for the white people to become racists and become nationalistic. And I dispute with these people. I've always disputed with these people. I've always disagreed with that. This is not a race issue, and there is no nationalist solution to this. You know, obsessive patriotism, nationalism, racism, in fact, it's what they want. The Illuminati want us to be like that. They want white people oppressing black people and, you know, hating black people. They also want the other way around. They want black people hating white people and oppressing them, which is happening in South Africa right now, but people don't talk about that much. But it does happen, and it happens both ways, okay? But any kind of racism, any kind of dispute between these various groups is what the Illuminati want, and they foster it, and they encourage it, and they breed it. So don't fall into that category, don't play into their hands. I'm not going to do that. Now, the reason I find this sinister, I mean, you may say, what's wrong, Ben? What's wrong with people getting together and remembering those people who died in those concentration camps? A huge number of people were murdered. And what's wrong with it is because of the obsessive nature of it. I mean, and the exclusivity that this event seems to have in history. I mean, Holocaust, right? Holocaust, when this is an instant when a government decide to exterminate a certain group of their society. They get together, they deliberately murder vast numbers of people, an entire culture, a genocide, in other words, within their own borders or beyond. This has happened many times in history. It happened like in the 16th century with the conquistadors. It happened with the extermination of the native peoples of Africa and Australia, and the destruction of their cultures by white European settlers. It happened in the former Soviet Union many times, and you know, and also in the post-Soviet era in Russia with Chechnya, and it happened. And let's look at the work of Kevin Annett, who's exposed the deliberate genocide of Native American children in Canada by the churches and the government and corporations. Okay, and I've spoken a lot about Kevin Annett. Now, you know, there are other Holocausts. That's what I'm saying. You see, but the thing about it is, the Holocaust, the capital T-H-E, capital H, Holocaust. That is the one in Nazi Germany with the Jews. That is somehow seen as above all the others. And these other Holocausts I just mentioned, they're just sort of like second echelon Holocausts. Even though the number of people who died in them outnumbers the ones in the Holocaust, they're still sort of like less important. The Holocaust, the big one, is at the top, and it's portrayed as somehow special, separate from these other ones. And that's what bothers me, because it shouldn't be. And it's actually become a kind of religion. It's almost a kind of cult of destitution and horror and misery and tragedy, which is infecting people everywhere. And there's a good guy, a Jewish guy actually, called Norman Finkelstein, who's exposed this. He's written a book called The Holocaust Industry, which I really recommend. Of course, everyone, the Zionists call them self-hating. They do that to Jews who oppose them. There's lots of good Jews, actually. I mean, like I said, I'm not an anti-Semite. There's the Holocaust industry is what? It's the Holocaust. There's the Holocaust museums I've just mentioned, and there's one of those there's hundreds of them all over the world, in every country almost. It's the Holocaust Education Trust, which goes around schools showing children films of these atrocities being carried out. There's the Holocaust tours. There's Holocaust crisps and Holocaust chocolates, and it's everywhere. It's always getting, it's you turn around and it's there. Thin, starving people being led into gas chambers, pyres of burning bodies, mass graves. It's everywhere, and it's sadistic. And it's sadistic. They even show it to young children, 5 years old or less. I mean, in the 1980s, a 9-hour film was made called Shoah, right, which was shown at the cinema where my mum works in Oxford, and it's 9 hours long. It was like a live David Icke show, all day event with 2 breaks. People came out of there crying. 9 hours for a film. I'll tell you what, any normal feature film, if it runs over an hour and a half, the producers say, hey, cut that out, cut that bit out. Many good films are ruined actually because this brevity is imposed on them. They've got to be under an hour and a half or we can't put them in the cinema. And Shoah's 9 hours long, bloody hell. And what you've got to realise is, there are people with a vested interest in this demoralisation and this dehumanisation of people, which it is. I mean, if you expose people to this mental torture, there's no other word for it, which is what it is. Okay, you expose people to this mental torture, they're going to be dehumanised. And most notably Israel. Okay, whenever you mention the Israel and the Zionist regime that occupies that part of the world, and the atrocities it carries out on its neighbours, sooner, someone or later, who disagrees with you will mention the Holocaust. You can guarantee it. You'll be talking about how Palestinian children have had their lungs sucked out of their mouths by vacuum bombs, bought from America by the Israeli government on housing estates in Gaza, and someone will say, yeah, but remember the Holocaust? It's as if these massive numbers of people being murdered in Germany 70 years ago is somehow mitigating circumstances for what Israel is doing now. I mean, it's awful. The Zionist regime in Israel uses the memorial of the Holocaust to justify its actions and even its very existence. This country is built upon the foundations of dead bodies in Germany, in mass graves, and other things like that, and in these concentration camps. And what a terrible memorial this country of Israel actually is for those people who died in those concentration camps. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, I shouldn't use the word country, because Israel is not a country. Israel is a Zionist fiefdom, set up by the Rothschild family. It is not a country, it should not be there. I mean, it's as if, let's use an analogy. Supposing a Spanish historian dug up some ancient text that said that Spain owns Yorkshire. And so the international community gives Yorkshire to Spain. The Spanish move into Yorkshire, they turf out all the native Yorkshiremen, and they push them into concentration camps around the border of Yorkshire. Either that, or they can go and live in shanty towns in Manchester, Liverpool, or Birmingham or Newcastle, or something like that. And basically, from now on, Yorkshire is owned by Spain, and those people have no right to it. And not only that, but they buy out massive high-tech weapons systems from superpowers for billions of dollars in donations from various governments, and they bomb Manchester, Liverpool, and Newcastle, and kill thousands of women and children in housing estates in those areas. That's what it's like. That's what the Spanish Yorkshiremen will be doing. It's literally like that. I mean, you just got to compare the Holocaust with a capital H to the Rwandan Holocaust or the other Holocausts. The Rwandan Holocaust has a museum. It's in Kigali, Rwanda, and it's a very simple and dignified affair. It is shocking, it is horrifying. I've not been there, but I've seen films of it. I know some Rwandan people who told me about this. And when you come out of there feeling upset by what happened, but a distinct feeling that you've not been attacked, You've not had your intelligence and your dignity insulted, and and what's more, I reckon in 60 or 70 years' time, the Rwandans will not be going around the world weeping on people's doorsteps, holding out their hands, begging for billions of pounds to spend on weapon systems to blow the hell out of their neighbours. I really do. The Holocaust is having a terrible effect on Jewish people. I don't know this firsthand, alright? I'm not Jewish. I don't know how it feels, but I think Jewish children have been born with broken hearts because of this. And this is going to be with them throughout their lives. It's a form of child abuse. There's no other word for it. The effect on German Gentiles is catastrophic. Germans are now having fewer babies than anyone else. The birth rate is 1.65. It's almost a kind of national death wish they have, and I reckon it's got a lot to do with this. You can't talk about the Holocaust in Germany because people will start collapsing and weeping. They make a joke out of it in Fawlty Towers. He says, "Don't mention the war," and it's very funny that, but it's not the war specifically; it's the Holocaust. So I'd like to propose that we keep the Holocaust Memorial Day, but we change it. We take away the capital H, and we replace it with a small h, and we put S on the end, making a plural. So it's a Holocausts, small h, Memorial Day, which memorialises all people who've died at the hands of governments and authorities throughout history in the world. Maybe that way we can prevent it from happening again. Like I said, I'm against racism, but I'm, talking about the Germans just now, we've got to realise that, if we really say we're against racism and we're in favour of equal rights, okay, then we have to support the rights of white people. We have to support the rights of native British people and native German people, Gentiles, as well as those of black, Jewish and other people, okay? I don't go along with this idea that if you stand up for white people, you are a racist. I'm not a racist. I believe that you can't fight injustice by trying to cancel it out with another injustice. That's what I'm saying. Okay, now my own statement. I want to make a very brief statement just about what I've been talking about the Holocaust with a capital H. Now I'd like to make a brief statement about that from my own feelings towards it, which I haven't really outlined. Apart from, I think, the memorial is sinister. As far as the actual event goes, like I said, I'm sorry for all the people who died, all 23 million of them, or 6 million, or 7 million, or 5 million. No one seems to know how many died. But if you say less than 5 million, you're a Holocaust denier. Although I don't see how saying 4,999,999 people being murdered by the Nazis is denying a Holocaust, because I think that number of people being murdered constitutes a Holocaust, don't you? However many people it was, I'm sure that I don't deny that it happened. Large numbers of people did get murdered, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry it happened. I'm very, very sorry that the Holocaust happened. Can I go home now?